Hello, everyone! Welcome back to TRI's Crypto Countdown, TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review. Got so many names for this show, but what the hell. Here we are! Party on! Actually, tonight I'm super stoked. Spent a lot of time ahead of the show here tonight, checking in with the boys and seeing if we can somehow balance this out a little bit so they can participate a little bit more. So super excited. This is our midweek crypto sort of centric show that we do at the Rational Investor. And I've had the privilege to do this now for the better part of a year with one of my show co-hosts this evening. And we have a relatively new other show co-host who I think is getting settled in, and great to see he's really being a demonstrator of best practices and just going about running a small business of trading, and it's cool. I think he'll be able to give you a nice little sort of summary of what he's seeing in the market tonight. So, should be a lot of fun. Of course, crypto just doing what it does. Good part about crypto, of course, is it's extremely volatile, which means it goes up and it goes down. And I think about once every 4 years, we just hit the reset button and do the whole darn thing all over again. So we're just going through the process of sort of cleaning up the last cycle's excesses. Probably now starting to come down into quote-unquote value areas on a lot of names. And if anything, this is the absolute best time to actually get to know some of these cryptocurrency stories. What is it they're doing? Who are the directors? Where are they along this story? What's their roadmap? Maybe read a white paper. There's a crazy idea. So, maybe I took a sip of water. There you go. That's an interesting start. Maybe Brian should read a few white papers. Wow. That water went down the wrong way. Probably a good opportunity to introduce my show co-host. Give myself a chance to catch my breath. We've got Ben and Paul on the show tonight. Who should we start with? How about Paul? Romanian Nightmare. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Good morning. It's morning for me.
That's right. Good morning for you. Good evening, my evening. Good morning for you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Excellent.
Just scalping, day trading.
Scalping and day trading like a boss?
Yep. Every day.
Actually,
Monday to Friday.
Sorry?
Monday to Friday.
Oh, yeah? Actually, Paul's put together a nice little newsletter that he sends out to his followers. So actually, I asked Paul if maybe he might want to show you a little bit of what he does, and this, of course, gives you an opportunity if you're watching this through the week to consider popping on over and taking a good look at what Paul does. So we got that to look forward to tonight. So we'll see what he's got in store for us. And our Floridian in the house, Ben. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome.
To talk some crypto.
Yeah, always a pleasure chatting with you, gentlemen. Wednesday evenings. Actually, just was picking Ben's brain a little bit before the show, and he reminded me of studies I haven't seen in a while. So if anything, I'm super excited. Maybe if we're lucky, we can get a little sort of glimpse at how Ben looks at the crypto space and Bitcoin and stuff with a couple of things that came to his attention. So it should be a fun evening. I mean, we can go through the altcoins. The interesting thing is the market's actually backing up into levels where I actually think sort of like longer term participants can really actually start to seriously consider buying, believe it or not. And I actually have done some buying. I actually bought, having some fun. I like to demonstrate on the site trade setups. And so coming out of the Fed, we actually had a really cool session around the Fed. We had our daily brief, and Brian just blabbed on for a couple hours, but eventually, somewhere in all of that, there's little nuggets of wisdom. So I think people are like putting up with me for that. But heading into the Fed, we actually had a full sort of breakdown of what the heck's going on in the world. Actually, I put all those charts away. But coming out the other side, actually, we've got a whole bunch of buy signals in the risk market, and even the risk off market too. Gold, nice W's. Bonds, nice W's. Even the yen looks like it's trying to bottom out here. So, to that effect and to that end, Bitcoin. This is an interesting study because I'm going to compare for the site members the difference in trading between the Bitcoin futures and trading the cash market. So here's basically the same setup in the in Bitcoin Standoff 30-minute chart. So as you can see, it looks like that's working pretty well. Pretty good testament to the just good old W's. How you ultimately get in here, I think the most important message was maybe wait till the Fed was done and then act, because I tell you, through that Fed announcement, there was some pretty wild price action in here through the day. So we had a Fed meeting today, and a lot of people, a lot of people were pretty concerned about sort of the inflation problem. And I think I even talked to you guys last week, sort of kind of off topic, things like the TED spread and the significance of short-term interest rates in the market right now. So given this problem, and this is a problem right now, this is actually a pretty big problem in the market. I think it probably makes sense that we all sort of, crypto's awesome, and, it's the future, and of course, it's technology and writing code and all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, actually, it was interesting on the site. We were passing around a video by interview of Stanley Druckenmiller, and it seems everybody and their brother on the internet was watched that interview, which is good. I mean, Mr. Druckenmiller's probably our generation's preeminent investor. So, he's actually expressed some serious concern about the Fed and sort of the direction that our economy is going. So with this kind of backdrop, I think we should temper our enthusiasm in the risk market until these guys, these adults, the older people, all that kind of crap, they actually get control of the situation. And in a weird sort of way, I actually think, things like what happened with Luna is actually a sign of the market and the concerns of the market. It's not unrelated. This is all connected. So that's probably the most important backdrop message to this whole conversation I can give you is just understand the backdrop of the environment that we're in. And of course, Brian's longer term cycles, studies. I still think, the good part about it is we're now into green boxes. Green boxes are good times to buy. You can see last cycle, green boxes. If you forced yourself to accumulate in green boxes, you did pretty well. So I don't see any reason why this would be any different. In the short term, does this, look crazy ass down here? Probably. But on balance, when we start getting down, especially at the bottom of green boxes, you know how much I love 78.6s. I start getting really interested. And, just to finish off my little rant here, there's one of the big boys here, and actually I even just tweeted it out, so why don't I just make reference to the tweet just to save time. I had a long-standing order. I love 78.6, so I had a long-standing order. I did this trade as a demonstration, I think a year or so ago, of the power of mountain man levels, and I think I called this like the trade of a lifetime or something like that, where you had a huge structural breakout, and then we usually, especially if price is really volatile, and actually it's interesting because Paul himself, I think, really likes trading mountain man levels. But this turned out to be actually a very good trade. Basically, the market slammed into 61.8 and just reversed on a dime. And actually, this was interesting because I think I got filled on this stab, which was just a little bit lower than that level. And then instantly, we were rewarded with a free trade. I love when that happens. Then I just simply said, look, I'll take that original capital and I'll go throw it back in the market, but I'm not buying until we get back down into reload zones. So I just threw my stink bid at $1,020, and really $1,000 is a nice big fat round number. It's a psychological level, so I really didn't mind going back in and buying back this original invested money. I've put it back to work into the market because that's the kind of if we go through altcoin by altcoin by altcoin and all these cryptocurrencies, we're now starting to get into areas where I think actually institutional players are probably going to put bottoms in these markets. No W's yet, but I would just simply say that we're starting to get into trade location that's very compelling for a guy like me. All right, so that's sort of my overview of what I'm seeing and doing. I'm actually in there spending some money. So those are sort of like higher time frame position trades. Putting a bit of money into good old ETH there. And then I would say, for fun, to keep us distracted so we don't go and screw those kind of trades up, I really like to sort of, whether it be day trading, because Bitcoin is 24/7, and probably I'd hold this position overnight. It might even trade for a few days here. You might even call this a swing trade. We're doing lots of this kind of activity on the site, and I get the feeling there was a bit of a pivot there coming out of that Fed meeting. How long lasting it is, tough to say. We do have a big monthly, and this is also every 3 months in the capital markets. You have a big financial series of options, derivatives that come due because they like to work on sort of like quarterly March, June, September, December sort of series. So here we are in June. And a lot of people buy like the leaps for institutional players for the January exposure, end of December, beginning of January, and then the June options to play the summer market. So this is a very important expiration week coming up here. And actually, maybe while the boys are talking a little bit about their findings here shortly, I'll dig up the Deribit site and maybe we can mine a little bit of what the information's coming out of them, because they also have a big Bitcoin options expire, and I think probably also Ethereum too. So maybe before tonight we can take a look at that as well. So this was a Fed day. Interesting, and I think this is something you could probably write down, fairly consistent, that happens in the market historically. I think it also applies to crypto and also to a certain degree Bitcoin, is this idea that if the market sells off into a Fed meeting, ironically enough, usually that means that coming out the other side should be okay. And actually, this would be like, sell the rumor, buy the news. I don't know how long lasting these rallies are going to be, because if we look at things like the political historical roadmap, usually the bottom comes in at the very end of June. So we're the middle of June now. If we just get through this options expiry, maybe there's a lot of options that could potentially expire in the money here. They just need to get the market up a bit here into Friday, and then Monday there's one more big leg lower. I could see that. But I definitely think seasonally we're very, very close to some sort of pivot. So it's interesting to see these kind of setups come in. I think on a half decent bullish divergence in this case. Look at that OBV div. If you ever see OBV divs like that, oh my goodness, that's so sexy. So I had no choice. Like I said, whether it be off of the futures or whether it be off the cash market. When I saw that W come in, I think you even have the divs. Look at this MACD div, huge div. I guess it's okay. It's not huge. RSI divs, beautiful RSI div. Willie stupid, the whole 9 yards, and then a big fat W there. So I mean, that's basically my L Tango Nader trade, looking for that 50% bounce of that most recent trading range. So we'll see how it goes. And as I said, once we get on the other side of the weekend, maybe beginning of next week, do we roll over and then have to press the lows into the end of the month? We'll see. In fact, actually, you can even see already off a lower time frame basis, you can see we're already getting stupidly overbought, which tells me that unfortunately you've missed the trade. If you didn't get in off this W, then the trade's gone now. Okay, so that's my sort of blah, blah, blah. As I said, I have two I like it, both very unique personal views of both the market trading. So I actually wouldn't mind hopping over. Paul, are you there, or did you head out for a smoke? Let's see, maybe he might have headed out for a smoke.
No, I'm just here.
Hey, there he is. All right, so why don't we pop on over to Paul, and he's going to walk us through. Actually, he has, like I said, a newsletter that he puts out to his viewership, and I've added Paul in the video tweet. So by all means, if you're interested, just reach out to Paul through that tweet, and he can get you set up on his Discord group in the whole 9 yards. So, okay, I'm going to put all the little bubbles away and give Paul the full screen here, and I want to hear what he thinks we're going to do here on the market. So, you've got the floor, sir. Tell us what's on your mind today.
Yeah, this newsletter, just a couple of ideas I put for the people on Discord every Monday. So last Monday, this was my thoughts. I put the weekly chart. Usually, we are on some support on 61.8 fib on Monday. On a daily chart, at the time I wrote this letter, we are at 61.8, a reload zone, and a smaller reload zone from this bounce. On 4-hour chart, we just broke the range from 1 month old on 4-hour chart. If you see from, I don't know, I know you can see it, but almost 1 month we are just in this range. Was a damn profitable range for me. I just selling on top of the range and buying on the bottom of the range. But in Monday the range was broken, and the idea was if we go back in the range, we'll make a W and just buy it. If we'll not go back in the range, we'll just sell. So the second idea was correct for me, for the market. I even wrote that. Yeah, I put the Bitcoin dominance was on the top of the range, and I suggested a short-term retracement will follow. Though at that time it doesn't seem likely to happen, but that happened because the altcoin grow a bit more than Bitcoin. I put the Ethereum Bitcoin chart on weekly basis just for idea. The same thing to see the altcoin, and the Ethereum Bitcoin chart looks like it broke the range and it will go lower to Wyckoff check level 2.5. I put the total to crypto without Bitcoin, and I was suggesting that this level 500 billion will hold and they'll produce a bounce. We already had a potential divergence on MACD on weekly chart. The wheelie was stupid. I put every week I put the biggest events from that week to pay attention to them. So we had Monday we have PPI, Wednesday we have the Fed, Tuesday we have the permits, and so on. And if it's a big event or something very important, I just put a note so everybody to remember this event. Yeah, about altcoins is not something new. I put it every week from 1 month ago. Most of them they have reached a location zone, but for little old lady strategy is not worry. It's not any rush. Probably now at the moment I wrote this one, I put this one the altcoin are a bit higher, but now we have a damn good location for them. You just wait for at least a daily W to try to take a small nibble with the little old lady strategy. Yeah, I even put the July, August. I expect personally I expect a bounce from altcoins, and many of them they'll give us a double to get free coins. It's just my opinion. It's not something. Yeah, and at the end, I I put my opinion about trading and day trading. We are still in hard mode. Our risk is cut in half. At least on my part, I take a risk per trade of 0.5 for my portfolio. When I have a damn clear setup, I'll put 1%, but it's a rare opportunity to take 1% from my account to put it in one trade. Yeah, come just this is my thoughts. Every week I put this one. I was thinking is what bit simple, and I had to put more things on it. But one idea, I put the big picture. My opinion about big picture in the crypto space, and how I like to say to the people, treat trading like a business, and market will treat you like a king.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Nice and clean and nice and simple. And I
Invest.
like
I
that
just day
reference
trade all the week.
about the hard mode. I think
Yeah.
that's valuable.
In meantime, every day I trade. I do scalps with the Holy Grail indicator. I just go take a small risk. Like the last one, I'm still in it. So this is the direction line and the stop loss line. This one, the thinner one is the entry line. So when the market will go make a small trend, the entry price will be on touch of this line, this small line, and the stop loss will be exactly below this thinner line, this thicker line. And I have a table where I have the direction of the trade, the price entry, the stop loss, and the position size in crypto. So how much Bitcoin I should put in the position to risk. Let's see. I put right here $100. So to risk $100 from this point to this point, I have to put 0.44 Bitcoin. I close half of my position at 2-1 and just trail the rest with the stop loss below this line. So now I've closed 50% of my position. I just trail the stop loss. So the rest of the trade will be stopped out just with the stop loss and profit. So if the trend continues, I'll just keep riding this trade until the stop loss will be hit. So this week was a nice week, exception the Fed announcement. This was a mess. You cannot trade this. And I sit on the sidelines 1 hour before and 1 hour after. But you can see here we have a profitable trade, produce 2-1 or even more. Right here we have one trade, 2-1, another trade, 2-1. And I keep going every damn day. I'm waking up, take a trade, and deliver to results. If you see this one, was a nice trade. Just put a short, ride it all the way down until. I especially use it for Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're a bit stable, but works damn well with bigger altcoin. You can take nice trades with it. It's a simple indicator made by me. Just it shows me I have alarms. They show me every time is a possibility to take a entry in the market, and I will just take a look, see if I have all the reasons to take the trade. Look here, I put my entry, my stop loss, my position size, and I keep going every day. So it's kind of boring life of the trader. Just look at the screen and take my trade.
Cool. Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's not fun, but it's profitable.
Well, that's the most important thing is just to figure out what works for you individually and
Yeah,
go for
I
it.
found out this works nice for me. I also use the Mountain Man, the Shark
Mm-hmm.
every day, but on shorter time frames, like 1 minute, 3-minute chart, I just do scalps with this indicator.
Sweet. All right, Ben, how are you going to match that presentation, eh? Wow. Just kidding. What's super cool about the group is I think Ben approaches the market from a different perspective. And I love this show, right? You can see the difference in Paul's perspective to mine. Remember Nick, also Derek. Actually, Derek's stock, that Franklin Wireless, is looking so good right now. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. So, how did we do on the spreadsheet? I'm sorry, did you want to add something to this, Ben? My apologies. I think I cut you off there.
No. I think it's awesome. And I just love the way that Paul's created a way to mechanically approach it with consistent, a consistent process every day. It's awesome. Yeah.
Right on, Paul. Way to go, dude. That's what you call owning trading. Nice job.
Yeah, just my way of looking at the market and just making money.
Yeah. And actually, it's fascinating when you take this kind of approach and build this algo, and the algo tells you to do something. Half the time, it's kind of funny. You're kind of like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. The computer says I got to buy, so I guess I got to go.
Yeah, you just have to buy the damn lemon.
So, right on. All right. Ben, do you want to... I remember we were... Actually, no, that's not what I want to say. There's my funny. There's Sassy. I don't know if you can see Sassy down in the corner. He's saying hi. He's going, whoa, man. That's some pretty impressive stuff. Where is Ben? Let's see. Because did you want to talk a little bit about the rainbow? I was really impressed with that. Is there anything...
Yeah, I mean, I could try. I really wasn't prepared, and but okay. I can give it a go.
Sure.
I mean,
and also too, you were talking about NVT. So You know, it's interesting. You're seeing on the screen. This is Paul. Very technical approach. If anything, I think Ben's actually going to talk a little bit more about sort of like valuation metrics and stuff like that, eh?
Yeah, I think like for me, like one of the most successful things that I did last go around was um, just looking at investing from a long-term perspective.
There you are. Is that the rainbow you're showing us right now?
Yeah, so this is
Excellent.
a pretty old chart. I think it's been around since 2014. And they use something called the logarithmic um, regression model. Um, and yeah, I mean, anecdotally, it looks like we're coming into friendly levels for buying again. You're not buying the top, and could be a time to start thinking about accumulating. Things really don't look that positive out there at the moment, and that's usually probably a good time to start thinking about that. No financial advice, but for me, as far as my trading plan, these are the kinds of things that I was looking at long term, when the prices were really high, and just thinking, oh man, I just wish that it would come back down into these levels, and then I can start
It's
buying
interesting
again.
how now we think of 20,000 Bitcoin as cheap.
Right. I know, right?
Yeah, look at the top of that. 300,000? Is that what that says? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. But what
Wow.
we consider to be a cheap loaf of bread these days has also changed
Oh,
quite
I
significantly.
know. Goodness gracious. Don't get me started. Oh my goodness. Um,
Um,
and what I wanted to ask was um, I'm hearing a lot of sort of talk that Bitcoin cost of production is around 20,000. Remember somebody shared on the website today a link that said that Bitcoin's cost of production was basically 20 G's. I don't personally buy into it, but what do you think? Do you buy into that?
yeah, I've tried looking into what Bitcoin cost of production is, but it's a bit of it's a pretty steep learning curve, and I think it has so many factors that go into it. But I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you,
Hmm.
yeah, what it is exactly right now.
Well, no, I guess just it's interesting how your dark, I guess dark blue or purple, basically a fire sale, and I am starting to hear people say that we're coming into cost of production levels.
Right. hmm
Mm.
Yeah, I guess it's that thing of once you can find a couple of reasons, you can find infinite.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? And what was the other? There was another indicator that you were talking about earlier that said you thought that it was catching your
hmm
attention.
Yeah, so that was the NVT, which I think Willy Woo came up with that. And these are just things that I've been keeping my eye on as like, long term, um, what would look like a good picture for me to start thinking about stepping up again. And that's the NVT is basically it compares the market cap of Bitcoin to the aggregate value of daily transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain. Um, so when it's really high, it suggests that the Bitcoin price is high relative to the amount of utility that the network provides, and vice versa. When it comes down, it's low relative to the amount of utility that the network provides. So I guess it's a happy network, right? People aren't speculating on it, and um, it's more like a value kind of look, like a value indicator.
And so, what does this kind of image tell you right now?
Um, that I guess that ratio of the utility of the network versus the market cap is coming to a point where, you know, it's where it's in the red, the market cap is overweighted compared to the amount of transactions that are being used by the Bitcoin network. So perhaps the price is exceeding the number of users and the utility that it's providing. And then as it comes down,
oh boy, you better do something on Ethereum.
It's my screen share on that.
Oh, that's your screen share.
Yeah, but I just put the rainbow and the MVT.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering. Okay, cool. I was wondering how you guys did that. So
Yeah, just an alarm on my Holy Grail indicator.
All right, so we all better go buy. I think that was buy. That was a shameless plug for buy Paul's trading system.
Yeah, the system is just giving.
Oh yeah, look at that. So that's a buy
yeah.
signal, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. So if anything, I don't really want to open this can of worms today. But it'd be really interesting to see how Paul acts when he has a losing trade, and how that resolves itself. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, just put the stop loss.
There you go. Okay, it's just that simple. It's
every damn time, because if I traded 1 minute and I didn't put a stop loss, I would be out in a couple of trades.
Yeah. Okay, so and tell me from your perspective, Paul, have you ever used that NVT study?
Yeah, I use it. I like it. This study.
And what does that image tell you?
Bitcoin is going to reasonable prices. This super solicitation, or I don't know how to express myself in English, is over for Bitcoin. And strangely, the Bitcoin is in the reload zone.
Yeah.
The wheel is stupid on a weekly basis. Yeah, we have some potential deals on MACD, but for now, pointing down.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, if the MVT is not overbought, it's a nice start to look at the market and start doing DCA or looking for long opportunities from a swing trader perspective or a position trader perspective.
Yeah.
It's about time to take a look at the. I was even talking with some people today. They say they look for shorts on the reload zone from, let's say, from 2020 until now. You look for short idea now on the reload zone. The reload zone means to reload what you sold on the top. So for me, just looking on bigger time frames, I'm looking for W's to take a long shot at this level. Yeah, maybe you could go to 16K. Yeah, we could go. We make a wake-up check on 14,000. But now, they're making a wake-up check on the old high. So I just trying to search for long opportunity, not for short.
Right.
For short, this was the area to take a shot. Or maybe on this head and shoulders, to take a shot. On this retest, you can take a shot on the short side. But now, yeah, for me, it's not a good idea to try and look for a short idea.
Right.
And yeah, NVT is looking nice. Wheelie is looking nice. RSI is almost oversold.
Yeah, it's very rare that RSI gets down as low as it is now.
Yeah, no, the RSI is lowest since ever on Bitcoin on weekly chart.
Yeah, look at that, We don't get down here very often.
The only time in history of Bitcoin is so low.
And what do you think about the Ethereum? Does the Ethereum look similar to this? Or do you think I guess my question really is kind of like, Ethereum's like DeFi and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, how's that doing relative to Bitcoin?
Yeah, for now, is almost the same thing. No, on a weekly basis, I cannot look at the Ethereum chart and try to short it here from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 weeks down, and the Wyckoff check on this level, because it's just a Wyckoff check on this old high.
Yeah, it's too bad they don't. And so I guess the question would be, would this have an NVT if it makes the transition to her?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Does that make sense, Ben? Is there an NVT for this kind of, or for Ethereum? Or does that work completely
when it goes
different?
into proof of stake?
Well, I don't know. Is the thing, this what's always drove me crazy. I thought Ethereum was going to change.
Yeah,
or is it
so it's currently proof of work going to proof of stake?
Yeah, I thought it was something like that. It's so confusing. So
Right,
that just shows the complete stupidity of Brian, everybody. Sorry. I'm really dumb at this stuff. But
No,
anyway, I was just curious whether there was an NVT study for Ethereum, but I guess there isn't.
well, I guess it would be the same thing, right? And Paul, feel free to chime in. But I guess being proof of work currently, it would still work. It's a function of the number of transactions by the market cap.
Yeah. Well, I know the big thing is gas. So, the interesting thing about this thing falling in price is that I think actually it makes Mr. Vitalik's supercomputer more affordable, eh?
As far as the change,
Well, just like if half of the problem with it running up to 3, 4, 5,000, whatever, was that the cost to do a transaction on the network was pretty expensive because you like pay in Ethereum, right? The extra fee to do the transaction.
Yep.
So it coming down in price like this, it's probably got to make Mr. Vitalik probably even a little happier.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the price of gas fees coming down for sure, and then moving to proof of stake, the transaction fees come down even more, and the number of transactions that it can do goes up a significant amount as well, which would throw the NVT study right out the window.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Willie is approaching stupid. MacD's
He's
got a
stupid.
potential bull div. And actually be interesting. Oh yeah, looks like Willie is stupid. So probably shorting this isn't such a good idea, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how often RSI's ever been this oversold. I don't think I've ever seen RSI this low for these things.
This week is not over, so we could modify it.
Yeah, that's a
It could be
good point.
a lot higher until the end of the week, but
The sad part about that is that's actually going to create some bearish structure there, though. So we got like Julian would probably want to draw downtrend lines off of those RSI peaks, and really probably not going to get like bullish until you actually see those downtrends broken. And so that kind of stuff. So we're correcting. What's the trend? The trend's down. I think that's pretty obvious. But maybe if we're lucky, where you could maybe there's probably the way I would describe this is trying to catch a falling knife here. So got a bit lucky. This, if anything, is a great. I don't know how the hell I pulled this one out of my butt, but technically, what's the price on this thing now? About $1,200.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm already up 20% on my trade. I mean, damn straight. That's a pretty good trade.
Nice trade.
And I put some serious dough down there too. I wasn't just
But look
chicken
at that.
feed.
This is a bounce from 78.6.
That was a sick level. I don't know how the hell I pulled that one out of my butt.
This is a support area.
Like if you actually draw a fib off of the high back down to the low, I think basically I just put the order in at the 78.6. So,
On this one?
yeah, that high all the way right back down to the bottom.
Yeah, but this is all the way back. From this area to this area.
Well, maybe that's 78.6, that 111, but on my chart it came out to about 1,050.
Yeah, but
so.
I'm on
Anyway,
stamp.
that's here nor there. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, the interesting thing is I should be able to get half of this off at $2,000. I mean, what's the odds in this thing trading back to a couple grand here? I think it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
So seeing a bounce back. In fact, you could do a fib off of that recent low if this is the low. I wouldn't be surprised if next week there's one more push to new lows here just to piss everybody off. But if you just did a fib from that low back up to the old high, what's 50%? That's probably what our target should be through the summer. Well, there's your. In fact, you love hitting that. So that 33.95, is that Mountain Man? Is that 61.8?
Yeah.
So Paul loves hitting that. I got a funny feeling because notice, look at the candles there. I always talk to you guys about candle body highs and lows for trade location. So notice how that.
For sure.
Yeah, that lines up almost perfectly there. So I should be able to. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look. I'll probably work an open order up in that area. And the Portugal meetup that we have in September, whatever money I make in excess on that move up top there after my double, we'll use that as our party budget. So maybe it could be like a good 510G party. That'll be awesome. But, I could see like a massive inverted head and shoulders here for him. Right? The last thing in the world anybody's expecting is for the market to rally back up top here now. That's interesting. Like if this thing can actually turn back up, right, we'll start saying look left. So where was the last resistance point? It's interesting, all those little traffic area there is all right around that $2,000, right? And that's my double level. So we're probably, my hunch is probably like middle of July. That's when we're up in that 2,000 area. So anyway, somebody mark my words. Anything below 1366 gives a double at 38.2 of the range. Oh, thank you, sir. That makes sense. Yeah, because 38.2, that'll be our first stop target, right? So that's where it's probably going to sort of stall out on any kind of dead cat bounce.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So, yeah, probably somewhere up there. I would even say sort of like the middle of, give it the second week of August. Be generous. Yeah, somewhere in that area. You can see this darn thing rallies just right back up just as fast as it came down here. It would not surprise me. Brian's gonna stick his neck in the noose.
Yeah, I just put that.
There you go. So if we can get that double off, because like if you could do, can you do a 38.2 of that range?
What this one?
Yeah, that's the reload short zone. If anything, that box should be red.
Yeah.
But if you could do a 38.2 fib, that'll tell us where the dead cat bounce sort of rally window should exhaust.
No reloads, and I'll just add up this one. Just put 38.2.
38.2, yeah, there you go. Boom. Where the hell's
Yeah.
that? 20. Oh, interesting. 2,500. So that's not bad.
Yeah, in this area, this resistance.
Yeah, well, that makes sense too, right? Candle body lows for trade location. That technically is a big M, that level.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to sell half at 2,500. So that'll give me 500 on half of the position. Geez, that's a good $2,000 or $3,000. Man, that's gonna be. We could have a pretty good party with that money. I'll commit to that. Right on. So our Portugal trip is gonna get financed by Mr. Vitalik. Thank you, Mr. Vitalik. I appreciate that. Anyway, when's the big date? Like, isn't something supposed to happen here in Ethereum?
I don't know. Maybe Ben knows exactly. I'm just a day trader.
Oh man. I think last time I checked, it was something like between August and October.
August. Oh no, it's got to be August 13th. Damn it! Right. So I get one caveat is I think that line is going to correspond with that magic date. So you got to give me maybe a couple lines. Give me from August 13th to the end of August. And the good part about it is the Portugal meetup isn't till the middle of September. So maybe that's fate. Maybe that's the reason why we booked those dates when we did. That's perfect. Anyway, if we do get a rally up top there, drinks are on me. But yeah, I had somebody say, do we have to be a part of TRI to come to the TRI meetup? And it's like, oh God, we're going to have like 5,000 people there. I hope you could make the road trip from Romania. That would be super cool, Paul.
Yeah, but my kids, they're pretty small.
Well, you kids, we can find some hookers and blow for them too. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So, what time is it? It's about 7:00. Why don't we go take a look at the spreadsheet and let's see how we did predicting the future. Hey, look! There's a bunch of people over there on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. How many?
I was damn bullish.
You're what'd you say? You're from Istanbul?
No, I said I was bullish last week
Oh, you were bullish. All right.
on the spreadsheet.
Okay, let's exit full screen. Then we will put the Hangout over here. So we're back on this page. And that was Ben's cool rainbow chart. I'm not quite sure. Can we, is there any way you can do the comments and stuff while the video's going? Anyway, I'll put this in the room because I'm going to try and add these to the description afterwards. So I'll put that there. I thought that was really cool. Thank you, Ben. So according to this study, and I don't know, no guarantees from the management, but we're coming down into value windows, I guess. Fire sale. So that might inspire you to do something here. Here is our fun spreadsheet with our funky colors. And actually, we created the spreadsheet to be specifically about this. It's about time. Kind of silly operating off the other one. Is that what we had here? We were down 25% this past week? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Wow. Oh. Isn't that interesting? So who's this guy over here that had the orange? Hey, that's that Brian guy. Well, he was kind of thinking downy a little bit. I guess I wasn't thinking that downy. One of these days I'll get this right. Sharktoshi's still part of the group? I thought we...
No.
Anyway, here is Derek's column, but now that's switched to Paul. Paul, uber bullish. Ouch. All right. Hope you had stops working. Risk management for the win.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately,
Ben?
I trade my setups, not my opinions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't fault you. I would love for Bitcoin to be bullish too. And this is, if anything, this is a good demonstration that sometimes your opinions not really helpful. Nice to see Ben. Looks like Ben and I were on the same side of the trade this past week. We were actually a little bit, if anything, this is probably a really good example of Druckenmiller. And our comment there, do you guys understand his comment about we're not being imaginative enough with our pessimistic view? That's a scary statement. When a guy like that says that, that's dangerous. And if anything, this is exactly what he means. So none of us were imaginative enough to actually perceive what actually could happen here to the downside. Boom. Down 25%. So, be forewarned, everybody. When Mr. Druckenmiller says something like that, unfortunately, that's not a good sign. Okay, so congratulations to Ben and Brian for being somewhat on the right side of the trade. And Paul, congratulations on exercising risk management and limiting losses. Do we want to look at individual names? Do we want to maybe just do asking the audience what they want us to look at? I don't care. What do you think we should do, Ben? Or Paul? Either of you.
Nothing like a bit of audience participation.
All right. If the name that they happen to ask happens to be on our list, then I'll try and add it. Just if you can maybe sort of go, hey Brian, over there, or something. Looks like we've done like sort of like the top 40 at least a few times. We could probably add another column in here and start all over again. But why don't if you guys have a request or two, I'm more than happy to pull up a chart. I don't know how we can do this, but I'd be more than happy if Paul, you want to give your 2 cents on the name. Let's see. I don't want to muck those up, so let's see. Where should we go here? We're talking about Brazilian real here. Actually, this is an interesting one because this coin, before we get going, I think we've talked about this before. But this coin actually, according to our trend following survey, and oh, by the way, actually this probably isn't a bad opportunity to quick shill for the site and Seward's Magic Engine. Tell you, I love working with this. It just makes seeing the market so easy. So you can see the S&P 500 breadth here. Not very happy. And of course, if you look at the breadth of the whole market, it's very we have a problem with interest rates in the broader market, no doubt about it. And also, too, lots of our conversations about George Benner and Benner cycles and stuff like that. This is unfortunately what we have to expect in this kind of environment. They got to unwind all that stupidity of that sickness nonsense that they did. So you look at the breadth. The breadth does not look happy, and interesting enough, it's starting to be reflected in the histograms here. Overbought, oversold. There's crypto, minus 31 and minus 56. But the interesting thing about this is, right, this is the only business when stuff goes on sale, nobody wants to buy. So, ironically enough, even a month or so ago, we had all of these things pointing super uber bullish, and everything was uppy and rock and roll and rally, and then everything started to fall apart. And so we're going through the process of basically all of this getting to the point where it's oversold. You can now see the bonds on the medium term are actually getting oversold. If they start getting oversold on the short term, then I think we're actually near some sort of pivot. This is why I kind of think that we're not quite at the bottom yet, because the medium terms are kind of like, not really bullish, not really bearish. And really bottoms are put in when the market is really depressed. So you can see breadth is down, lots of M's all over the place, but we're not, even like here, for example, looking at the sectors of the various parts of the economy, the slow indicators, they're actually still sitting technically overbought. There's the S&P 500, there's Europe, right? They're not really oversold yet. There's Toronto, there's Australia, sort of our commodity proxies. They look like, everything looks like it's rolling over here. Then heading off to crypto. Now, the cool part about crypto is I honestly think it's a leading indicator. So it broke first. You can see crypto broke a while ago, right? And of course, everybody remembers Luna. I remember Brian's birthday. Oh, Jesus Christ. So it took a while to roll over and break back to the downside. All right, we'll see you in a moment. And actually, let's see. Am I? What the hell am I showing on YouTube? I don't even know what I'm showing. Hopefully, what do you guys see here in the Hangout? Do you see Ben? Do you see Paul's screen or do you see my screen?
I see your screen on the Hangout and in YouTube. So
Okay, cool, awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so this breadth indicator, man, it keep you out of trouble. The middle to the end of May, we started getting warning signals, and it was like last week or so we had like potentially bullish kind of megaphone setups that just puked right out, and everything just sort of collapsed. I would expect this to W out, and as soon as it does start Wing out, probably in the next week or so, then we can start thinking about, hey, we're going to start getting back like this. Remember this? This was a beautiful little buying window there back the beginning of April. So, gotta let this thing clean itself out. It's almost there. Not quite, but almost. It's interesting how you guys were asking about Link. Link actually is the #1 rated coin in our universe right now here. And it's got a rating in our top 30. And it's got a rating of 42%. So that's not really that bullish. So anyway, the point I would just make here is, looking at the cryptoverse, you're probably going to see a lot of similarity in these price charts. This is, again, shameless shill for the site. I don't think you're going to get this breadth indicator anywhere else in the interneting. Totally unique, and I think it totally is awesome. But, people can pop on the site and then just take a look at all 30 of these things. Let's see what they look like. Do we see any W's yet? Keep in mind the W's, it's just that simple, right? So, kind of earlier what I said is it felt like this market was like catching a falling knife kind of market. And that's exactly, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be Dash, you can see it, whether it be Doge. At best, maybe if we're lucky, we're going to get some sort of inverted head and shoulders kind of action here. So still a little bit early for us to get uber bullish, right? We just, almost everything is making lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. Actually, that one looks kind of interesting. Look at that theta right there. So there's some kind of battle going on here. But still, lower lows. So I don't know whether we're really at the bottom just yet. I'd like to see some W's here. Right, and actually, this is a really good way of just listening to the market's message. What's the market trying to tell us? If you see a bunch of M's and you see lower highs and lower lows, well, the market's trying to tell you it's still weak. It ain't a bull, so don't go out and just force the issue. Now, I did, as I said there a moment ago, I was impressed. If you are shopping, I always think it's a good idea to try and shop in the strength of the market. And Link, of course, there's #1. It looks like we just made a lower low there, though, eh? Jeez, heavy volume. So we came down and made lower low. Lots of reactionary volume in here. There's quite a battle going on. 200 SMA, this is, we've seen a lot of this. This would basically be the same thing as the Ethereum, where, if you get a half decent reversal, here, you might be able to squeak out a double on a tag of just really simple basic resistance. And then, the question ultimately here is, are we in a new uptrend? I don't think so, right? The easiest way I've found is just simply connect the dots. So highest high, the next subsequent high, and this trend line has been confirmed as a valid trend line by it breaking through these lows. So market structure is dominant here. So, it's interesting. You can see how the 200 SMA, you can see how the market sort of, it flirts with it, can zoom beyond it. But on balance, if you were going to be like, what's sort of a half decent average through this to be either, really selling off of the buys off the lows. I think on balance, that's right. And you're probably going to see the same thing where this thing rallies back up. It's probably going to have one hell of a fight at the POC here. And also, too, really what this is And I'm loving the way Stuart's got these charts working here, right? You could make the argument that that's just a simple horizontal support and resistance level right in here. So, there's your rally window. I love the idea of a rally through July, August here in risk assets. Totally love that. What is the expectations of rallies? Well, 200 SMA, downtrend lines, horizontal support and resistance, notch in the profile. I'd say probably, good, 10, 15 bucks. Sitting at $7, you get any kind of bullish structure in here. And you can see momentum is washed out. You can see our slow DI indicator line here is actually W'd out nicely. And they're all starting to lift here. I think, it might be interesting if we look at the individual indicators and just see whether we see divergence actually confirmed here. My hunch is probably yes with this move to new lows. So really at this point, what we really want to see is, although I don't think I can do this on these charts, I was just going to say draw a W on here. That's probably a little advanced for these. So let's head on over to Trading View, and we'll take a look at that there. Actually, didn't really finish the thought on this KNC. Whoops. Didn't mean to get rid of the moving averages. But we have like a trend sort of measuring moving average system. It's just simply 13 EMA, 30 SMA. What's the relationship? Interesting on a weekly basis. This is still actually pointing bullishly. So if I could get any kind of W price action in here off of things like the daily chart, I think that's actually a buy. And interesting, look at that price action there, right? So I really like this one. This one I don't know the story that well, but when I hear people talk about it on the site, I think they're relatively positive. But it's fascinating. The one thing I don't like about this is you can see the closing low actually here is slightly lower than that low. So if you change this to a line chart, it's not really the best. But if we got a W that came in here, I might get really interested in something that looks like that, especially considering that weekly chart's still pointing up. Okay, but we were talking links. Sorry, kind of got off topic there. I'm not sure where the best place to look at this is. Where do you guys want me to look at this?
I think it's been around on Binance for a while.
Yeah, on Binance.
Binance, you think that's the best place to look? Is perp or USD?
USDT.
Oh yeah, and this is and actually that's a question I always love to ask. How is Tether doing these days? Do you guys have full confidence still in Tether?
Only with my trading account.
Yeah, you do quite a bit of action on Binance too, don't you? So you do use this quite a bit.
Binance, yeah.
So you still feel pretty confident in the whole Tether story?
Yeah, my trading account is in USDT still.
All right.
But I usually keep 10-20% on futures account.
Okay.
For my trading account.
All right. So we're still going to believe in Tether. I think that's the word I heard.
Yeah, for now.
There's that trend line that I drew off of the R chart. It's pretty straightforward. There's 200 period moving average. You can also see that's the top of value here against that high there. That's probably 38.2 of the entire range. So in this particular case, because the M is already in place, boom, confirmed. The trend is down. Don't fight that, people. Sucks horsecocks. As I showed you, that other one, its weekly trend actually turned up, but you can clearly see here exactly where the trend turned back down here on this thing, and that was up at that $25 area. So the trend is down, folks. This is the same as the rest of the market. And just to, again, shameless plug for the website because it's just so damn awesome. I mean, you want to make this investing game really easy. Don't fight this, right? Really, good investments don't come around every day. They're actually, believe it or not, pretty difficult to find. Because not only do you have to find a good fundamental story, but you have to buy in the right sort of window. And so we created this weekly commodity trend survey. This is my old 1980s website that basically it forces you to only consider purchases when they're buys when the asset's at the bottom end of its range and just as the moving averages are turning back bullish. Which means that by definition, you're not going to have a lot of issues that are quote-unquote buys very often. It just doesn't happen, right? Like if you look at this link. The last time you probably got a buy signal issued on this was probably right here, right? Where the asset was up here. It was at the bottom end of its range and the moving averages turned up. And maybe, it'd be tough to say, I mean, this is, I guess you might say 52-week range. Are we below the 50% rule? Yep. So that would give you a buy signal, a 6 reading on this thing right at that point. And frankly speaking, that's exactly what you want to be told. Is you want to be told exactly when this relationship is breaking. There. I mean, that's when you want to get involved in this stuff. You know, whether it be you let the market break out and on Wyckoff checks with the moving averages still bullish, you get in there and buy, first bullish signal. That's basically what that KNC I was showing you a minute ago. Moving averages still bullish. If I get any kind of buy signal, right, we can go back to that KNC. Come on. What happened there? There we go. All right. If I get... That's basically this image, right? There's the buy signal. And it would have produced a hell of a trade. Bottom end of the range. Moving averages just crossed bullish. The moving averages are still bullish. So if we can get any kind of bullish action here over the short term and the moving averages stay okay, that's a buy as far as I'm concerned. But you got to get a W to come in there. I don't know. I mean, this thing looks kind of slippy, but, this is the, kind of like what Paul was showing you with his algorithm. When you trade algorithmically like that, don't get into the business of predicting what the fuck's going to happen, because I can tell you, 9 times out of 10, what actually does happen is exactly opposite of what you think's going to happen. But point of the matter here is moving averages are pointing bullish. We did have the pullback, just like I showed you in that link, and if this thing turns back up and the moving averages are still bullish, well, it might just actually work out just exactly like I showed you with that link right back here. It's basically the same scenario. So there's the moving averages right now. I mean, you guys all tell me. Let's get the YouTube page jumping through hurdles here. Is that a bullish or bearish trending signal on link right now? And that came in right probably on the confirmation of this inside bar reversal right there. Right? I would even say your signal, and unfortunately, right? Boom. Well, thanks, Brian. You tell me at the end of the week, there's your signal. That's a sell. Thanks. Why didn't you tell me last week that this damn thing was a sell? But anyway, come on. I gotta get at least one person on this YouTube page jumping. Thank you, JP. Oh, yeah, hugs and kisses. Love you, babe. Hey, there's that great Del Moody dude. Jeez, you're a smart motherfucking trader, dude. If you publish a book, man, you better just at least give me some sort of shout out in the preface. Anyway, I talk at length about you. Hey, there's Adam. Adam C. Hey, Adam. Remember Saturday you gotta be there for the Portugal meeting. Okay. So, trend's bearish. Do you really want to be a hero and step in front of that? I'm going to leave that up to you. is, and this is, I think Paul even said this earlier in his newsletter. Is this the kind of environment that you could maybe just throw yourself on a dollar cost averaging plan and you are taking the opportunity, buying down markets, accumulating beat up assets, if you believe in this thing, and of course it's going to stick around? Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But investment grade right now, going to go and, put on a leverage position here. You're fighting against the trend. I see that Paul says there's nice LJ trade 4 hour on link. I suppose we could make the argument maybe something along that line. I don't know, man. That's pushing it. You doing that versus Tether?
Yeah, but on 4 hour chart, you are on daily.
All right. So if we go down to that 4 hour.
On the last move, on the smallest move.
So just this down move here?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. I would almost just say
nice
you would.
W.
Isn't that interesting? So you would trade, because I would kind of almost want to say that.
No.
But you're gonna do something aggressive like that, eh?
Yeah. We have a W. We have divergence. Now he's retesting the W.
All right. Well, it just goes to show we've a million different ways to skin a cat in this game. I suppose I guess this probably also looks like the Bitcoin reversal.
Yeah, we have a divergence already confirmed. Really was stupid. Nice W on OBV and RSI on 4 hour chart. So we have all we need to take a trade.
Yeah, but where? I mean, are you buying that? Are you buying that W there?
Yeah, or maybe just draw a reload zone from the bottom to the.
That's not a bad idea. I like that thinking.
Yeah.
Right, you could probably,
Yeah.
Candle body lows for trade location. That tail looks awfully suspicious in there.
Yeah, it'd be a nice.
Maybe
nice
even
trade.
against that low as well. So maybe if you could get like a dip into the reload zone.
61.8 for me.
Oh yeah, well there's good old Paul's. Maybe we call him
this
the
trade I'll risk
Romanian.
to the 100% of the.
Well, maybe
to the
he's
low.
the Romanian mountain man. Does that work? Well, maybe that's what
Yeah,
we
maybe
call him.
we have a mountains in Romania.
Yeah, there you go. So maybe what's the name of the mountain range? we'll give you that name. All right. So Paul's made the call. Yeah, he sees setups coming in here. It's a bit aggressive for a guy like me, but that's okay. That's what makes a horse race. Actually, probably. Well, see, the one thing that jumps out at me when I see this is I play connect the dots there to there. So I do like a nice little dip right down in here. And then I guess, if anything, what I would kind of hope is I go A to B, C to D. Yeah, so we're getting right up into that topping area. Maybe, we flirt with this trend line a bit. My hunt now, this is going to be an interesting testament to, do they want to keep the market relatively firm into that options expiry on Friday? Maybe. And then maybe next week looking for that pullback into the end of June, which is what I'm kind of thinking. You really keep a close eye. Can we get the market to come down and set you up a nice little trade right down in that window against that tail? I do like that thinking as well. So, that's kind of cool. But I will say, for the record, this is a lower time frame setup. And statistically, especially if you're relatively new to this game, it's difficult to fight against these trends. So just be forewarned. Like Paul, you heard him earlier. Trade setup. I trade setup. And if he gets stopped out, he gets stopped out. Right. I always like to. I learned this years ago, and it's basically my mantra now. I don't actually really care when a trader tells me about a trade that works. I go, okay, that's fine, great, good job. What I actually want to know, and I'll judge whether a person's half decent at this game, is show me a trade that didn't work, and how did you act, what did you do, and what was the outcome. Right? So if this 4-hour bottom doesn't hold because some Fed governor or something comes out and says, Christine Lagarde's been dropping bombs right, left, and center recently, and this thing pukes out, just how are you going to act? And you better predefine that beforehand. Don't make the decision on the fly. That's super dangerous. So, okay. Anyway, interesting. So if you're asking my opinion, I don't see a trade setup here. But could this develop over the next few days into something that would get my attention? Big fat W's? Yeah, maybe. I'd have to see the W's in the turn first to believe it because of the damage that we've done off the higher time frames. So that's my 2 cents, for whatever it's worth. Okay, so that's links. Let's see. Oh, goodness, there's a bunch of people have asked. Tezos or Siacoin? Oh, boy. Siacoin. Are those names still? I know, full disclosure, it looks like Trex is actually killing all Canadian customers. So I can officially tell you I know we'll probably not be either on Trex or even making reference to Trex in the not too distant future. From what I understand, Binance is relatively at peace with the Canadians, so I'm not quite sure. It's probably just Trex themselves, and I think their time is done. It's an interesting journey with them. So I think TRI does have our Canadian account where that Trex account is. I think we do have a Binance account, so we might do just wholeheartedly just move stuff like this over to Binance, and Binance actually made peace with the Ontario Securities Commission, so I think they're relatively okay. But this is kind of the same image as Link, eh? Do you see the same picture? I see the same picture. Lower lows. We broke this kilo, which isn't good. You would have liked to have seen the whale step in and defend that level. Probably the same thing if we look at things like higher time frames. What is the trend? You can see how the market on this double bottom, it tried to turn, back up, but the 200 SMA or the 30 weekly SMA, beg your pardon, it also was still trending higher, so it was almost like an uphill battle. We actually did try and break out here. Hey, maybe we're a bull, and then quickly bang, bang, bang. Nope, get your butt back down there. And same sort of thing as the Link, right? The trend has rolled back over negative. And the interesting thing about this, right, is this is basically at the bottom end of the range. So you kind of go, well, it's cheap, but unfortunately, just because it's cheap, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a buy. So this is where our little weekly commodity trend survey thing. Notice, like, if we look at crypto, this got a crypto top 30 has a total of 28 names, and all 28 are sitting at fives hunting buys. So it just goes to show that, look at all these. 5, like number 6 is a buy signal. Number 5 is hunting buys. And look at them, the whole damn list. Everything is at the bottom end of the range, but nothing has bullish moving averages. Nothing is really trending higher off of our top 30 list. So, when we click through the charts of these things, you saw every single one, it almost looked exactly the same as that Siacoin that we just were looking at a moment ago, where there's the trend is down. Yes, it's cheap, but we're not trending higher. We're trending lower, and we still are. And this is probably going to go on for a little while now. I would imagine also, too, there's probably going to be a lot of liquidation of these piece of shit penny coins if there's any sort of Canadian customers still on sites like Trex, because they're basically getting rid of all their Canadian customers. So you're probably going to, and also too, given sort of the broader market and the interest rate situation, and probably, I think I heard that places like Coinbase were dramatically reducing their workforce. I wouldn't be surprised if you see that right across crypto, which means that the crypto kids, unfortunately, they're going to be pressed for money, which means that they're probably going to be selling. So, VIA. Geez, I haven't looked at that one in a while. Let's see what it looks like. That was Romano. And you guys, I wonder if Romano, so this is actually a really good example of a Trex name. With all of the sort of Canadians that are going to be required to liquidate, you can kind of see there's just nothing to do here. Yes, it's cheap. Yes, it's at the bottom of its range. It was listed in multiple exchanges, and maybe they paid Binance to be listed and all that kind of stuff. Well, okay, fine. But if anything, this is a good example. Look how when we were trending lower here, look how it just stayed trending. Then eventually the darn thing started to actually turn back up. Keep in mind, this is a weekly chart, so you can see there it started to turn back up. And it held it, and just like that KNC right now, holding on to the bull, held on to the bull, and then, of course, that produced that rally there with the moving averages very bullish. So, you can see now, there are the moving averages. Everything's pointed very down. Could we get a rally here that engineers that bull turn? Sure. Do you want to invest based on the anticipation of that happening? Don't think that's a good idea. If you are, hey, I have to see bullish market structure to be invested in these things. Usually the hallmark of that is weekly W's, right? That's why this thing turned back up here, was because it stopped making new lows. It actually started making higher lows. There just isn't any sign of that right now. So lots and lots of names like this. And the question you have to ultimately ask is, what cycle are we in? I guess what part of the cycle? That's probably the best way to describe this. And way back when, actually, I just did this recently. It's a good idea to do this about once every 4 or 5 months, just to sort of remind yourself what year is this in these very predictable cycles, and what should we expect. And let's see if I can find it. There it is. So this is January to January. This was 14, this was 18, and I think 14, 18, 22 is basically along those lines. So I did a roadmap of what Bitcoin ought to do, 14, 18 comparisons, and what this year looks like, where we are. So that's basically what I'm thinking. Yuck. And in that environment, all of these little shit coins, last cycle, I didn't actually really see the shit coins themselves actually start to turn up in earnest until really, I would even say 2020, when things really started to get going again. 2016, that's basically, I remember in 2015, shitcoins didn't really do much. It was just really a question of when was Bitcoin going to bottom. And I started to bang out doubles and stuff as the market was turning back up here. I think I remember one of my favorite coins through this environment was a coin called Quacker, XDN. I don't even know what the hell they call it now. It's probably even off the board. But anyway, it was just a funny little name, and I remember we were banging out doubles through all this thing, and that sort of started the tsunami off. So if that's the case, and this is, I think, is exactly the same, 22's shit, 23 is the base, the bottom, and it might not be pretty like this. We might actually find at the end of 2023 we actually make the test of the lows. Could happen, you don't know. Notice here 2011 actually near the fall, right into October, November, we were basically back testing the lows of that year. Could it look like this? Sure. This is actually when all those shit coins and stuff near the latter part of 2023 when they're going to start to come back to life. And then 2024, 2025, that's going to be our sexy, hot shitcoin, altcoin, DeFi market. If anything, we're going to take 22 and 23 to clean up the Dannies. Clean up. Everybody's got to get over Mr. Do Kwon. Maybe we'll even find out that he's done something to be able to, pay back some of the people that got destroyed there. Who knows? I doubt it. Maybe, maybe not. But that's the kind of environment that we're in now. And then on top of it, we got the governments all really, really bad. It's fascinating to watch on the microcosm. And of course I love to show you these kind of images. This clown in the in the Daily Brief, and actually I even put it out on Twitter. That guy I just showed you. These guys, it's the same damn thing. I mean, there's nothing new about any of this stuff. If you don't know what a Mobi is and crypto, then you really don't know crypto. So just understand that actually this is venture capital. It's the part of the market. But what scares me right now is the adults, the older people. They're going through their great reset bullshit right now, and unfortunately, it's going to cast a shadow over, speculation, venture capital. Keep in mind, half of the reason why venture capital got the money that it did was because money was cheap. It didn't cost anything. You want to go take out a 30-year loan? Fine. I'm just going to charge you 1%. Just peanuts. You go and take out a 20-year loan right now, you're going to find that even the monthly servicing of that loan has gone up appreciably. So, even probably people who own their homes and that want to take down equity in their homes, I'm not quite sure if the higher interest rate hurts them or not, but I'm sure it can help. The point of the matter here is that because of this, money isn't free anymore. And as a venture cap part of the space, I don't think you're going to see the silliness of things like Mobies and this doofus, as easily going forward. I just don't. That part of the crypto story, I think, is over for now. Now, by the time we get to 24, 25, 26, my hunch is we'll be back into that kind of environment where these kind of clowns can start doing their thing. And I actually believe by the time we get to 24, 25, 26, that they will have gotten on top of this inflation problem. And you'll actually find that interest rates have topped out and actually are starting to come off. And you actually start to hear the adults saying things like, well, we want to encourage growth. And we want to encourage technology. And we don't want technology to go overseas and all that kind of stuff. When you start hearing that kind of talk again, then we can start talking about shitcoins and them doing well. So a little bit of a rant there, but I think it's important for you guys to put the market into context. Now, what's going to turn this thing around? Look how long it took for this. You might even find that we get like a little bit of a rally. If you're going to trade these things off of these bottoms, great. You better have your sell halves on double orders, because as soon as they run out of steam, they might go right back into the cupboard. So I can understand somebody looking at this going, Brian, but gee whiz, that damn thing's cheap. If I can get any kind of W in here, let's rock and roll. Okay, but just make damn sure. Don't fall in love with these things. And if you can sell halves on doubles, you better do so. I'd be curious as to what Mr. Romano is actually doing. Is he even part of this story anymore? And if you don't know Romano and you don't know the backstory of eating ass, you probably are best to leave this thing alone. I'd be curious, Ben. Do you know the eating ass reference?
Which one?
No. That's a good comeback. I like that.
No, I don't even know if I want you to go down there and explain.
Okay,
I
so
kind of also do.
no, he doesn't, and no, I don't want to know. All right. So it's interesting. Each one of these little shit. How ironic, shit coins. Oh goodness, this conversation is deteriorating quickly. Paul, are you familiar with Viacoin and its history?
No,
Well,
I'm in a crypto from 2018, so
all right, so there you go. Well, you can see even 2021, there was a half decent rally here. So all I'm going to say here is just caveat emptor, okay? Caveat emptor. You better understand what it is you're getting involved in here. Yeah, somebody's asking about Ubic, same sort of thing. You know, all of these coins that are just listed on Trex, this is scary. So I'm not quite, I mean, frankly speaking, I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed in these guys. I think because they are heading off into DeFi, and of course DeFi now has got to lick its wounds and try and get its act together again. I don't think it even cares whether it still has an exchange listing or not. I think most of the people in the Ubic space, they're involved in the DeFi story. They don't even really care about the exchange anymore. I got to say, I'm pretty disappointed in, you know, as I'm not even sure how do you describe this. You know, I'm a capitalist at heart, so of course I want to see price performance here. And I got to say, you know, they didn't really do a hell of a lot this cycle. I suppose, you know, there is your bull market from you know, there is you know, shouldn't we debate mortgaging our future? So there's their low there. That was at 9 cents. So they did ramp it all the way up to 70 cents. That's kind of like dog money kind of move. But boom, basically just took it all right back. So big hurry up and do nothing. Other than the fact that this is only listed on Trex, unless you actually really like these guys and you are involved in the story and you know the principles and stuff, I don't see any reason why this thing should do anything. And you know, the chart looks like a train wreck. So I suppose if you are interested in the story, you can make the argument we're trying to come in back against the bottom end of the range here. But the only problem with that, of course, is that this thing actually was called Jumbox before it was Ubic. And it rallied quite a bit as it went in Jumbox before it even became Ubic and came here. So you might think that this is the bottom, but in reality, you know, there's, you know, especially when you look at these things on log scale, you might find, you know, what is that? 2.002. I mean, hell, it might have been like 0.000002 on the Jumbox lows. I mean, I just don't see anything to get excited about on that thing. If anything, this is a really good lesson in why you never ever risk more than I don't know. The rule is don't risk more than 5% of your stake on any one idea, because it just might fizzle out into nothingness. I got a funny feeling that's the way this thing's going. It's a little disappointing, I'll be honest with you. I believed in Alex. I think Alex is a relatively good character. They're just not doing anything to warrant a big sort of run up into the in the market. And I think in a weird sort of way, that's half of they actually like that. That, you know, this rally that you saw in 21 and 22, it was a function of, you know, Danny's and Magic Internet Monies and, you know, the Cosmos, all those world. Remember Nick when he was on here? He was in love with all those DeFi kind of ideas. and he's kind of like, this isn't easy mode. I'm out of here. I don't blame the guy. But Ubik never really got wrapped up in that. And of course, as soon as those guys fell over and all the inertia, and then of course Wall Street, basically launches attacks against DeFi here, I can understand why these guys have just gone back and turtled. If anything, it's almost at the point here where you almost kind of want to just take your coins. Do you believe in the guys and their network, and just go buy like one of their pieces of art where the coins, I think, are in a smart contract in the actual poster. That's a great way to lock the coins away, and if the thing actually does something down the road, then I suppose you can somehow unlock the coins. I'm not quite sure how that works. But anyway, and another good example, just strictly technically speaking, you can clearly see where the moving averages turned down. Yes, it's cheap, but until these moving averages turn back up, there's no bull market here. And if anything, what you almost need to see to get the moving averages to turn up is we got to see some sort of rally. I mean, do something, Alex. They're not doing a hell of a lot. And then, of course, like I said just a moment ago, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Trex. I'll tell you. It's looking a little suspect. I'll tell you that much by crackers. So, anyway, they're kissing goodbye to the Canadians. So it's interesting how Alex and quite a few of his buddies at Ubik, I think, are Canadian. I know Aaron, for example, he's here in Vancouver. He was a principal in Ubik, so I'd be curious to see what he's planning on doing. Mind you, I don't think any of those guys are on any of these centralized exchanges anymore. So just yet another example that, these things, they just did not perform here. There's no signs of bullish trends. So as a result, it's just big hurry up and welcome to a trader's life. Okay, so sorry, just kind of hit and miss names here as we go, trying to hit as many as I can. Cripple. Jeez, I haven't looked at Cripple in forever. I wonder what it looks like. XRP. They always said Cripple was I remember a guy that I used to sort of interact with back in 14, 15. He always said that Cripple was the best remittance coin out there. I'm sure he probably still thinks the same way. From what I understand, it's more centralized than decentralized. I suppose the problem with the names like this, like I think Cripple, if I'm not mistaken, it's just got a ridiculously a large amount of coins out. And with these ones that are like remittance based, I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to actually come up with a valuation for what one Cripple is worth. So there it is, 0.336896, whatever the hell that means. Market cap, it's at $16 billion. Jesus. Circulating supply, 48 billion coins. So how on earth would you figure out what one of these things is worth? I don't even think you probably could. So if that's the case, then really it's just a question of it's a momentum trade, right? And you're just trading with the stream. It's either a bull or it's a bear. So we might as well use our moving averages to help keep us honest. You can see that after this thing W'd out here, the moving averages were all nice and bullishly for quite a ways. I mean, same as that Saya coin, same as the UBIC, probably same as Bitcoin, Ethereum. And you can see this thing turned over bear there in December. And really, we've been trending lower since. There really is no bottom here anywhere in sight. Like I said, 45 billion coins out. What the hell is one of these things worth? Who knows? Value trade, and of course, this is a pretty limited price window we're looking at. This versus tethers. So that's a whole bunch of issues unto itself. What I would say is if these are the levels you're comfortable with working with, just put in a big M so it's pointing lower. We could probably even do something like a Foggenbaum off of that little M right there to give us some downside targets. Yeah, so there's, oh boy, so 2.618 Foggenbaum off of that M on, and the thing is, right, that's a log scale to try and help you see better. There's the regular scale. So, and that would make sense because I don't see any reason why these things, there is that, shouldn't we debate mortgaging our future, blah, 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 all that stuff. That was that low. Could we come right back and wash those lows just to break all the kids' hearts? I mean, what's the difference here? It's 30 cents now. That low is 10 cents. Does it really make any difference? What would that be? That's a third of the current market cap, and it was 16 billion. So that means that the network is worth what? 6 billion? 5 billion? 5.5 billion? Does it really make any difference? So until you actually see, and hopefully everybody looks at this, this is exactly what I mean by weekly W's. That's what you got to see for this thing to go, okay, you know what? It's W'd out, the moving averages are crosses, and just like I showed you with that KNC, what you really want to see if this thing is for real, and that's basically what happened here, is you want to see it. Come on, you. There we go. You want to see the structure confirm, then the market pull back, and this consolidation here. Nice W, set up that rally. Woohoo! There's a big rally. And then, of course, we had, and that's probably what this drawing is. Maybe. I'm not sure what that. Oh, 618. No, that's a bigger one. Sorry. But, you know, just even here, boobity boo. And boobity shmoo. Look at that setup. Damn. So moving averages are pointing bullishly. Nice little pullback into reload zones. Wyckoff checks against the weekly W, Benkoff checks. In fact, actually, I'm not even quite sure what you would call this, but can you see how this is like a head and shoulders? And this is a head and shoulders check. I mean, that's a hell of a level, that neckline right there. This, you know, if you're going to, you're going to Great Del Moody, right? This is Great Del Moody shit right here. So if you're going to sit here and say, okay, well, Brian, I want a screenshot and I want to post something on my wall that I buy this, and if it doesn't look like this, I don't buy. Well, there it is right there, folks. I mean, that's the shit right there. It's just as simple as that. And it's interesting, somebody over there says, I took Brian's class in 2015. Wow, that's that guy's been around a while. What did you say here? Eating ass in Thailand with Advice BTC. R.I.P. He was a great one. Did Romano pass? Romano still around, degenning, high leverage, blow up many times. DPZ, who the hell are you? Yeah, you took my. Is that our Ron Jeremy? I got a feeling that is DPZ crypto though. I can't remember. 2015. I should know who you are. Give me a clue who you are. I should know who you are. Yeah, you remember Archcoin and Mobies, eh? Yeah, wasn't that that was actually, I think, one of my first big wins in crypto was Archcoin. Anyway, nice to see you, DPZ, whoever you are. All right. So if seriously, if you want to teach yourself how to trade, right? What you want to look for is show me the weekly W that the trend is finally stop going down, start going up. If you want to use something like a moving average system to illustrate that, it makes it really easy. And then you want to hunt these reload zones, and hopefully everybody can see this beautiful W that's set up basically right off of what looks like to me is a Head and Shoulders bottom level. That's basically it, folks. It's just that simple. So, interestingly enough, I was watching some documentaries and stuff recently, and of course, with all the death and destruction in the world right now, a lot of people are sort of asking, what's the point of all this? What's the purpose of life? I mean, it just seems so fleeting. It seems so stupid. I'll tell you, folks, and I don't know whether that link is going to post there in YouTube. No, it doesn't. Darn. But I'll tell you, I think that the purpose of life is to simply try and make a positive difference in somebody else's life. And the more that you give in the universe, it's weird, the more the universe gives back. So I don't have a hell of a lot to offer, but I can tell you, I've been playing this game long enough. I know what a good-looking buy signal looks like, and I know how to convey the idea, like articulate it to people and try and help them understand and learn. And I've got 2 or 3 links that I'm going to add to the video here tonight. But I'll tell you, I'll add this. Crazy C! Oh yeah, I remember you, Crazy C. Yeah, and you went and bought those condominiums down in, was it Thailand? Is that where it was? I seem to remember it was in the ocean somewhere. Anyway, cool. Yeah, good to see you, Crazy C. Yeah. That was a million years ago, wasn't it? So, was it Thailand? Is that where you went? I remember I can still see the picture of the condos you said that you were going to buy. Anyway. So, there you go. There's my free, you want to learn how to trade and make money from trading? Just print that off and say I only buy in green boxes with weekly moving averages pointing up off of beautiful structural bottoms. And, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. That would have produced a trade that probably could have gone and bought a Thailand condo very nicely for you. Just that simple. Anyway. Do we look like that right now? Ben, can you help me? I need somebody to articulate this message nice and clearly. Do we look like this here right now?
No, it would take a lot of imagination.
Positive imagining. Remember, Mr. Druckenmiller wants us to be more imaginative in our pessimism. Philippines, that's right. Yeah, I remember it was the Philippines. Yeah. All right, anyway. Actually, somebody keeps pitching me on the site. Hey, Brian. Oh, you know what it is? It's Thomas. You want to see Thomas's girlfriend? This guy, I swear, he's got the hottest girlfriend in the world. Tongue in cheek. There's on the show we're always making reference. There is Thomas's girlfriend. Anyway, Thomas, he's a killer day trader. He's having a lot of fun day trading with the dog. He took the course 2 or 3 years ago. And he's just now, you like her, do you? Anyway, you don't talk smack about her. Thomas will get upset. He'll come and fist fight with you. Anyway, I'm having more fun than I should. Sorry, everybody. Should take this far more seriously. I'm on an island now from you. Oh, interesting. My sister took your class. I sent some people now. Oh, right on. Good. I sure hope that they learned. I'm on an island now from you. Oh, hey, fucking hey. You were able to buy the island? Good for you. Good job. Nicely done. And actually, you were a pretty smart dude, so actually that makes perfect sense. A guy like Crazy C, he would be taking this trade, and he would be out there buying those Philippine islands on those kind of profits. I could see that. Great. Do you really want me to? Oh, that's Thomas's girlfriend. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, fine. I'll show that. There you go, YouTubers. That's what Great Del Moody thinks of Thomas's girlfriend. Okay, let's keep moving this train forward. I've sort of derailed things. Sorry, everybody. Are you guys enjoying this we're just looking at coins? Unfortunately, I can't really give you something super bullish to look at. I wish I could. So we did UBIC, we did XRP, we did VIA, we did that Saya coin. Actually, you know, one coin that you guys are asking about, I'd be curious to look at is that SOL. Because, you know, I guess he's... and actually, Nick, he described the gentleman who's Mr. SOL. Is the guy who runs the FTX platform, right? Are you guys still with me, or am I by myself?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yep.
Isn't it? And what's his name? His name's like Sam or something like that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Sam, but I don't know the last name.
Is that his name? So this is, you know, like I got the impression this whole DeFi thing that it was Luna, Magic Internet Money, Danny, and all that stuff, and these guys, and Solana. And obviously Magic Internet Money, Danny, poof, gone. And Luna, poof, gone. And it's like this is the last one of these to fall. So, hey, that's cool. You ran into JC, eh? Is he? Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, pop on the site if you want, and you want to come on a daily brief and tell some of these new people about what it was like in the early days of TRI. That'd be kind of fun. Anyway, what are you guys saying over there? Nah. Anyway. Okay, so just, I mean, looking at this chart, unfortunately, I think, you know, there's not a heck of a lot to add to the the conversation. You can see where this thing turned down. Interesting how basically right out of the gate it was just bull. I'm a bull. I'm a bull. As soon as this thing broke, and I think you can make the argument that really what this is boom, 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 see ya. So on this break right here, that was sort of your warning that, hey, we got trouble. And also, too, what do you think the odds are that that was like 38.2 of that whole range? And so really, as soon as 38.2 is given, we like to call that the first stop target. Yeah, look at that, right on the nose. So as soon as the market structure came in on the other side of that, that was another warning sign that, okay, the bull's probably done. Unfortunately here, you know, I suppose the Elliott Wave people, they're going to start, you know, probably doing their counts. I'm never really good at this stuff, but just on balance, I can sort of see 1, 2, 3. Usually 2 to 3 is supposed to be the biggest wave. So 4. Can these guys survive here? Actually, I suppose that goes down to there. If you know, if you are one of those Elliott waivers, this is sort of, you know, this should be the end of the down move. I think you could probably also make the argument reload zones. So we are flirting with one of my favorite fibs, and I've often thought, you know, I started out this education program coming from a prop trading firm, where we traded Mountain Man levels a lot, and of course brokerage house, all that stuff. But I've often sort of thought the midpoint of this zone is 70.2, and I've often thought, what would it be like to actually maybe just like move the reload zone from the midpoint of the reload zone. Notice how it's basically the same size, but down to the 88.6. Now we'll call this the venture cap reload zone. That would actually be smarter, I think. And we see a lot of times that venture cap actually loves to bottom off of 78.6. So interesting how even on this chart, right, we can sort of look like, wow, that's horizontal support and resistance. This is a great analogy of what that can often do. Look at that wild gyration right off of that level. And what I've found in my career is that quite often, I've told you guys this before, that, this will be crap down here, but eventually you're going to find that this darn thing actually bottoms right off that 78.6 level. So something like that actually looks perfectly legit to me. That doesn't look unrealistic. So first and foremost, if you're a momentum trader, there's nothing for you to do here. Simple as that. Second, I would say if you believe in whoever the founders of Solana are. I seem to remember about a year or so, actually before all this nonsense back in here, there was a guy, and it's so bizarre because the last cycle, it was the same thing. The last cycle, there was actually, they even had a fun little YouTube, I think they even called it like the shitcoin show. I mean, it was just so blatantly crypto, and it was so irreverent to the sort of the higher ups. That you knew, of course, that was an anecdote itself, that this space just isn't ready for prime time. I think it was called Shitcoin Talk or something like that. Anyway, and then I noticed that this cycle they started those kind of circle jerk sessions up again. And I remember the guy that was super bullish about this Solana. And the guy was just like over the top, insanely bullish about this. I can't even remember the guy's name. It's just he said that people tease him because he has no neck, and so fucking what? A very irreverent guy, swore like a sailor. Still can't remember what his name is. Be interesting to see whether he actually got out of the Solana story. Or just like Luna and just like Magic Internet Money and all that kind of stuff. They literally rode the wave high, and man, these guys, like, I heard so many times, this time it's different, this time it's different, all through here. And that in itself was a major warning sign. We also had a gentleman on the site, and I actually can't remember what happened to him. We had one gentleman who was just all DeFi, and he was just making a fortune out of DeFi. Then I guess, I haven't seen him on the site since last fall. I can't remember what that guy's name was. Anyway, all I'm going to say here is I don't hear any of those kind of DeFi people anymore. Okay, Ben, you know him. Yeah, that's his name. And remember, we changed when this shit happened. He changed his name to Astronaut Dave, right? I wonder where the hell are you, Farmer Dave? If you're watching this, do you know? Yeah, Ben, do you know?
I don't know. He's probably retired.
Yeah, that guy made ridiculous amounts of money. But here's the irony of this stupid space: is of course these guys make absolutely insane amounts of money. But did they actually ring the register and cash out and actually go and buy some physical, tangible asset with their winnings? Or did they just ride it right back down into the ground? And trust me, I was a full-service broker through the dot-com boom. That was the hallmark. Everybody got stinking rich on the way up. And everybody gave it all right back on the way back down. They always say, bull markets, everybody makes money. And, these cryptocurrencies and the whole DeFi space, that's what it was. You had to be long, and long was it. And if you were like cautionary, then you were some legacy fool who didn't understand that this time it was different. Yeah, right. It's the same shit over and over and over. It drives you crazy. It's always the same story. So anyway, point of the matter here, as I had said earlier, trend is pointing down, momentum is pointing down. Is it exhausted? Are we getting down into quote-unquote value levels? Well, you can actually see somebody stopped the bear last go-round on these levels. So can and does that person step up and defend it again? And then I would add, are these directors at war with the United States government? It's probably not a good idea. I hope you all learned a very valuable lesson here. do not get arrogant in the face of the US government about something like your stable coin. And do not say things like, I don't care what you think. I mean, that was just asking for trouble. So, anyway, point of the matter here is I don't know. I got the impression that the guy who was running this guy, like I said, Sam, everybody really seems to like the guy. So maybe it's just they're going to clean this thing out. They'll just slowly put in a bottom now that we're back in value and the thing survives. But as we've been saying on the site recently, this goes out to Joe Z. I'm from Missouri. So if this is for real, there's one letter of the alphabet that I want to see out of price action and one letter only. As soon as you show me that letter, especially off a weekly chart, then I'll be like, all right, I'm down. My hunch here is, in the short term, for whatever it's worth, if there is some sort of dead cat bounce, well, it's going to bounce right into our fast moving average here. Then it'll probably back off. And as that happens, the slower moving average will catch up. If this thing then starts to W out and start to turn up, then the fast moving average will turn up. The slow moving average will cross. And we get our weekly bullish signal. And we can start hunting those reload zone setups like I showed you earlier. Right? It's just that simple. So, got a lot of work to do to get this thing back into quote-unquote buy shape. I could very easily see through this summer, right, through because I do believe that the whole risk market itself is pretty darn washed out. That's this kind of conversation. And you can see risk is catching a bid. And I get the impression that, like I said, this was sort of like... if we look at all these stock indexes, I get the impression that because they sold the market off into that Fed announcement event, that actually that's the end of the down move, not the beginning. Because usually what happens is the stock market actually rallies into Fed events, hoping that they get some good news out of the Fed, and then the Fed comes along and bitch slaps them. Now, everybody and their brother is bearish. Everybody's selling into that Fed, worried about the Fed. And the irony of it all, that's usually when the Fed's done their job. And you even heard Powell himself today say things like, actually, I did a pretty damn good job talking this market down. So, he only had to raise the Fed funds up to 1.5%. That's not really that high. And frankly speaking, he actually said, for whatever it's worth, be forewarned, all you noob investors. He explicitly said today that he fully expects that this Fed funds rate is actually... how am I going to show you this? He expects... Actually, yeah, this makes perfect sense. He expects this Fed funds rate, this blue line, to be where the orange line is by the end of the year. And that is about 3.5% short-term interest rates. So they only got 6 months, right? It's at 1.5% right now, right? 1.7 now, so it's already moving up more. Over the next 6 months, you have to expect another 1.5% increase in short-term interest rates. So this isn't done by a long shot. My hunch is the next few Fed meetings, it's going to be half point. And then if we keep getting the really ridiculous inflation numbers like 8-9%, they might do 3/4 point. They might do a full 1%. He said that, we're totally data dependent. So, and, on TRI, we watch this relationship very closely. We won't know that we are out of this problem type market until this thing is emmed out in earnest. And you can see we got a bit of a head fake. And then all of a sudden we got some, really nasty PPI and CPI data here recently that said, no, you're not done yet. Sorry, son. So just be forewarned. What I think you're gonna see here, and Nancy Pelosi's husband just went and bought a whole bunch of tech stock call options. Well, I could easily see the Nasdaq rally smartly up here. I could see something like Bitcoin. Ironically enough, I mean, Bitcoin's gotten so whacked here. And even just off of here, what's a 50% retracement? Remember Joey Diamond? He came out with his $38,000 Bitcoin. And into July, August, I could totally see that. But where's the 50% roll? Oh, it's at 34,280. The volume, is that? No, actually, these are just some simple trend lines. You can see the top of value sitting there at 39. Could we get that counter trend rally up into here? Sure. But on the shit coins, what that means is we probably see that rally there. Back to these sort of fast moving averages. Hopefully that makes sense. Keep in mind that's a weekly chart, right? So if we go to daily, right, that's basically that window up there. I can see this 200 period moving average. And actually, this is kind of like the name that Paul was saying. I guess it was Link, 4-hour setups. I don't think I really have a trend line break on something like this just yet. This is a daily chart. So there's your primary trend line. Can I have a W on the other side of this trend line now, please? I think probably in the short term, right? There's that weekly moving average is in that area there. I could easily see, like through July, August, this thing rally back up. You can see the MUOC up here, and you can see the 200 period moving average is going to come down and do something like that. Right? So then we come up here, something like that, and then head down into the fall. So I could see something like that very easily. So can you make money off of that move? I don't see why not. If we do fib going there to there, 50% rule, top that node up there, you can see it's $84. We're now at 34. Could we get a nice little, really I think probably if you wanted to trade this thing into that bounce, like I said, you're going counter trend rally. So this isn't, you're not trading with the trend. And like our level 2 instructor, he does not like that kind of behavior at all. And he even runs a trading school for day traders himself. And he's like, market structure is critical. You've got to have some sort of sign that, yes, this is actually a bull. Off the daily charts, maybe you get some sort of W that comes in that forces these short-term moving averages to cross bull. And it's the same logic that we just used off of the weekly charts and those buy levels right down in there, right? Maybe you get something like that, and your trade is to hunt for that event right down in there. Could be. So keep your eyes peeled, but I don't have any really buy signals here just yet. Even off the daily basis, the moving averages are still very bearish. No reason off the weekly charts to think that this thing is trending higher. At the very best, we're talking like dead cat bounce kind of rallies. So that's probably the way I would look at that. All right. It is after 8 o'clock. What do you think, gentlemen? Did we do a half decent job here tonight?
Always. Yeah.
All right. Ben, things were okay. I think.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Paul. All right.
I'm still here.
Maybe why don't we check in with the spreadsheet and let's see if we can embarrass ourselves with our horrible predictions of what's going to happen next week. So, who wants to go first? Don't everybody jump at once. I don't hear anything.
+1 for me.
+1? All right, Paul wants to go with a +1. All right, so not as bullish as last week, but still somewhat bullish.
Yeah.
We'll temper our enthusiasm a little bit, but
I'm just +1 or +2. This is my thinking, but
Okay, Ben, what do you think? Where are we going up? We're going down? We're going sideways? Where are we going?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll do a +1 or
All
2.
right, so
Yeah.
2+1s. And considering everything that I just said there, and this is the interesting thing is like it's next Wednesday. And we did get absolutely bitch slapped there, eh? I still see the interesting thing is I still have these bearish bot setups still working. So I still think we got to work our way, and we got to tag that old high there. I can't believe that high has not been tagged. That surprised me. So this is a daily chart. 7 days from now. What do we say? What do you say? Do we come down and tag that and get that done? And what is that? That's 19, and right now we're at 22. So yellow or -1 is that's like 5%, right? So that's only like what is that? That's only like $1,000, right? What are the odds that that is a pivot low? Because really, that's the conversation. If this turns into a bullish fractal, then I don't think we look back. Momentum. Oh, it's trying to bounce here. That was a bit of a reversal day there, eh? Nice volume. I think I'll go with a. That's a tough one. See, the thing is I'm biased because I have a couple of these trades on right now that I don't really want to see fail. But I think that these things play into the weekend and then we roll back over. So I'm gonna go with an unchanged vote because I think we're gonna rally up, but then I think probably next week we'll probably be back in the same place. What's that? Do we even have? I guess that's a gray, eh? Oh yeah, look at that. We do have a gray. I'm gonna go with a 0. So isn't that interesting? We're not expecting huge volatility. We're expecting either Paul's expecting a little bit up. That should be a negative, shouldn't it? Did you say -1 or +1?
I said +1.
Yeah, Ben. Ben, did you say -1 or +1?
Yeah, I said +1 too.
+1. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
not minus, plus. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so both of you guys are looking for rally here, eh? Oh, interesting. All right. There we go. We'll see what the hell happens. Only time will tell. Okay. Well, 20 past the hour. Closing thoughts, maybe? Paul, any closing thoughts for these good people?
No, for me, the same last every week. Manage your risk and just try to show up every damn day.
All right.
It's the same message for me. Treat trading like a business, and market will treat you like a kid.
There you go.
Be damn serious about trading.
All right. Well, it's wise words. And Ben, you have the last word tonight. Any closing thoughts for these good people?
Number 1,
All right.
send some PMA to Brian and Liam for tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Always a bonus. Thank you. Actually, Liam's been doing pretty well lately, so knock on wood.
Great to hear. Yeah. I guess a thought for the day. Sometimes it's okay to do nothing.
Sometimes it's okay to do nothing.
You're waiting for a position to come in. You're waiting for your trade setup to come in. Yeah, don't force it, and yeah, it's okay to be rewarded for just sitting on your hands and waiting for those things to happen. And yeah, don't force anything if it's
All
not
right.
a
I can live with that. Um, Probably as we work our way through this 20, 20, I don't know, where's the best screen to leave off on? Actually, I think the best, sadly, well, not sadly, I think it's really awesome that it actually is working as well as it is. But just to give you a real sort of frank look at the market, probably best if you are a crypto enthusiast to, like Ben says, if anything, I've told people this before, what you really want to do is you want to just let the market set up tomorrow's bull. And sometimes it takes a prolonged period of really crappy price action to set up the next bull. So as Ben says there, I think that's an excellent idea. As long as our breadth end images look like this, there's really no hurry. Go have fun with the kids. In fact, it's the middle of the summer, isn't it? So if you're in the northern hemisphere, get out and enjoy the weather. I like the idea over the next month. I guess month, but over the next few weeks into year end, we should probably see some sort of tradable floor come in here. So if anything, next week and the week after that should be, oh my goodness, we're actually getting close to some bottoms. And we should start to see things perk up. Like you guys are all excited about that link. So, I keep hearing a lot of people talking about it. So maybe we get that initial burst rally off the lows here. So we'll keep an eye out for leaders. And if anything, good opportunity to check in with people like Danny, Doe. Are they out of the penalty box yet? Do they have new products that they're trying to bring to market? Are there other people, Sam, right, that are trying to sort of refresh the conversation, sort of change the tone of the conversation? And my hunch is probably give it a couple weeks and we'll start hearing that kind of stuff. So, okay, thanks for your participation, gentlemen. Always appreciate it. Great conversation as always. Check out Paul's service, and you can find his Twitter feed on the tweet that I just put out. There he is, Paul J Trading. And Ben, I guess you're kind of just a private guy, right? So I don't think Ben really has any sort of shill here, do you? Maybe you do.
nah, no, still just learning.
That's cool. Actually, you're working your way through the level 2 program, aren't you?
Yep.
So I'm sure you're getting handed tons and tons of new learning material every week.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So cool. Well, at least you and I can have conversations about volume profile going forward. All right. Why don't we leave it at that? Thank you so much for your participation, gentlemen. Check out TRI's website. Check out our Twitter feed. Check out the actual YouTube channel. I'm sure you're getting handed lots and lots. I mean, we tell you, you get tons and tons of free information here. Also too, feel free to pop on the website. We have a 30-day trial for the actual super site, and you can pop on and check out all the various different features and benefits of the site for 30 days. Kick the tires a bit, watch a few daily briefs, peruse our library, see our signaling systems and their basic working function. So it's a pretty good proposition. So, all right, have yourselves a fantastic afternoon, evening. Interesting. Look at that. Yeah, we actually have a buy signal in crypto. Ooh, guess you'll have to come on the site and see what the hell that is, eh? All right, everybody, have yourselves a great night. All the best. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Ben. Ben, why don't you take us out of here? The only thing left for us to say is...
Bye for now.